All right, here's lesson one of chapter 10, the Industrial Revolution, or for American history purposes, better known as the market revolution. The impacts of that on the economy and life in the United States is a big deal. What's life like before? What's life like after? We got a little bit of an idea with that with our introductory video clip here the other day, but here it is again. In the colonial era, most people are really living and working on farms. We're an agrarian society. Remember that work is pretty much done in that agrarian system and also inside the home. Work is scarce outside the home to compensate. Americans just basically make their own things at home. And most people do in the world, but there's a transition that's going on here with our age of exploration and the establishment of colonies. That is our industrial revolution, especially by the year 1750, with some technological advances, are going to create this new shift in the economy globally, and gradually it's going to spread to other parts of the world. But some countries have a lock on that in particular, and that country that has a lock on it is, in this case, Great Britain. In the 1750s, our industrial revolution, our first industrial revolution, really begins here. They are drawing raw materials and resources from the American colonies, from Canada, from their other colonies around the world, and factories are turning those things into gadgets, wadgets, and thingamajigs. That is where the real money is. And this goes back to what we talked about before with our triangular trade routes. Notice the manufactured goods and clothes, furniture, luxury items are coming back to the colonies. Raw materials are coming from the colonies to Great Britain. There's a massive amount of money being made here, and they're not only selling this stuff back to the colonies, but to the other colonies that they have around the world and to other countries if they can possibly do that, right? Colonies don't really have a right to manufacture. That's mommy daddy's job. But now, since we're an independent country, we've been trying to do that, aka Alexander Hamilton's vision. And as we become an independent country and we latch on to this industrial technology, we're going to move from an agrarian society gradually. It's going to be a little bit slow, but moving into a industrial society where things are made in cottages, in people's homes, largely women, young girls. The daughters are making things like textiles and things like that. And then those things are sold by merchants to people that want clothes. And the clothes are also made in the cottage industries. Once the Industrial Revolution hits, then, of course, these cottage industries are moving into factories. This is occurring in Britain. It's going to happen in the United States, where everything is made in one particular spot and the workers go to that particular spot. And so Americans are really dependent on these raw materials from Great Britain and manufactured items. Or you just make your own and you do without. Make your own, one of the two. How is it that this is growing? How is it that it flourishes? Well, a couple things that benefit Great Britain as well as the United States is the economic system that they employ. One, capitalism, free enterprise, also known as that. Individuals put money into a business in order to hopefully make a profit at some point in time. People are free to buy and sell whatever they want. People produce what people demand, and that's how you make money, freely in a natural state of things. And so that's one of the reasons why it flourishes. But on top of that, then people are, of course, motivated to come up with ways of producing things more effectively, cheaply, efficiently. And that's where inventions come in, and this is what gets produced in Great Britain. Textiles and the production of textiles have some key inventions that make it faster and cheaper. Factories start making these things at a high rate and high volumes, and these factories only exist where there is a source of running water. Running water, fast running rivers and streams is what drives many of these mills and these new pieces of technologies. People start to move from the farms to cities to work in these mills where there is a more consistent, remember Alexander Hamilton and his thoughts on industry, a more consistent flow of money as opposed to a periodical seasonal flow of money under agriculture. This is where the big money is. And for the United States, it's going to develop here in the Northeast, in the New England states, where there is this climate that's a little colder, not so well fitted to agriculture, there are large numbers of rivers and streams. There's lots of snow, and when that snow runs, then the river and streams run very fast and swiftly. You've got these water wheels being able to power all these factories that are going to start developing here, and they're going to be textile factories. There's also other sources of things that raw materials that industry needs, like iron, to make iron pieces and parts of machinery. And when we get into our second industrial revolution, this thing called coal is going to be also important to that. It's also used in the iron making process. New technology, new types, new inventions, the spinning jenny, water frame, power loom, all of these things decrease the steps and time to make a finished product, like i.e. clothes. And since things are cheaper, then more people can buy it. And if more people are buying it, then more money is flowing and more jobs are had, in a way, until technology replaces those jobs with some other invention. But this is how things kind of get going. For the United States, a guy by the name of Eli Whitney is significant in all of this. 1793, George Washington is first in office here in the early years, comes up with this thing called the cotton gin. And this is going to remove the seeds from the cotton quickly and efficiently so that it can be woven into yarn and then brought into this thing called cloth. And this is going to move the cotton cleaning process from one person cleaning 1 pound a day to one cotton gin cleaning 50 pounds a day. So then the question becomes, those people who are doing the cleaning, now what are they doing? Lots of manpower back here. Slaves doing a lot of the work. Takes a long time. Hard to get a lot of money out of that. Now I can make it 50 times faster. And what am I going to do with these people? Well, these people are going to go on the other end of the process. Instead of the cleaning side of things, they're going to go on to and into the planting side of things and harvesting side of things. And so what this is going to do for industry in the Northeast is increase the supply of cotton, which means it's cheaper. And now American textiles, when we get to it, and textile industrialists are going to compete with British textile industries much more effectively. And this is going to also bring foreign buyers of cotton to the United States and buying it because it's cheaper and they can make more of a profit that way. The question then is, what does this do for other parts of the economy and in parts of the country? Well, our demand for land is going to go up because we're going to want to plant more of this cotton. It's going to be known as white gold as time goes on. Demand for slaves, not going down because of this cotton machine. It's actually going to go up because now we're going to increase the amount of land put into production, and therefore the demand for land and westward expansion is going to increase significantly. Eli Whitney's big also because of this other thing called interchangeable parts. In 1798, he got a contract with the United States government to make 10,000 guns in 2 years. In the old handmade system, it was considered to be nearly impossible trying to figure this out and fulfill this contract, which brings him some good amount of money, I'm sure. He comes up with this process of interchangeable parts. And so before this, everything that was made was pretty much made by hand, skilled artisans, metal, wood, what have you. And so everything that was made basically was unique and special, and therefore it was different in a little unique way compared to anything else like it, i.e. one gun was different than another gun and the parts that were in it. It's slow and therefore things are expensive. But with interchangeable parts, in which we basically are going to have machines making very precise parts to things that people want, now we can actually take the part of one gun and interchange it with a part of another gun, and it works exactly the same. This speeds up the process of making manufactured items. It decreases the price, and therefore we have supply go up, and we have availability of goods to people because they are cheaper, and jobs are being made because of it. Eli Whitney is pretty big in this whole industrial revolution and the second one, and up until present day. Automation, of course, is going to be applied to this later on. Robotics, that kind of thing. Whitney just demonstrated this to the United States government, and they were kind of impressed, to say the least. Impressive stuff. So essentially, we've got machines that are going to be making duplicate parts over and over and over. Parts are going to be standardized, measured to be very specific. This is what makes them interchangeable. Repairs are easy. hundreds and hundreds of the same thing over and over again. Jobs, but now jobs inside of a factory, all kinds of different factories. Some other things that help this industrialization kick into gear in the United States is this support from the United States government. In 1790, Congress passes the Patent Act, and it protects the rights of an inventor to their idea so that they can continue to make money off of it and grow their business, their factory, create more jobs. Britain is trying to protect their ideas that they have in their textile mill industry and technology. The United States government is trying to do it for individuals. And Britain is actually punishable by death to share any of these techniques and technologies outside of Great Britain. They were highly protected so that competitors like the United States couldn't weasel in on everything. And that's what happens. There is a bit of espionage that happens here in all of this. A guy by the name of Samuel Slater was working as an apprentice in a British mill. He comes to the United States, and in 1789, he starts replicating by memory what that system in Britain looked like. And he builds his own first cotton mill in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and the Industrial Revolution starts in the United States. The father of the factory system, the father of the American Industrial Revolution, Samuel Slater. A fellow that takes it to another level is a guy by the name of Francis Cabot Lowell, and he improves on this factory system. He forms the Boston Manufacturing Company. And within this company and within this building that he creates, every piece of the manufacturing process from one end of the building to the other end of the building where the product comes out is done under one roof. And it's all focusing, of course, on manufacturing here. And he utilizes heavily for the first time young girls that were making cloth items and weaving and spinning cotton and whatever into wool into cloth and materials to make into clothes. He brings them into this particular place. And of course, as I mentioned in class in our review video, that we have a growth of population around cities, and we have communities develop around these factories, and people start living by the clock. And these girls who normally did this work in the family home or at the family farm are now doing it here in our cities. The little girls, as you see. So this system is significant in changing how we work, where we live. A schedule, being on a clock gets established here. We want a certain amount of work done to measure how much product we're going to have. Therefore, we can predict how much money we're going to make. And despite this industrial revolution growing and building and developing a industry, as Alexander Hamilton really was hoping, and he's getting his wish. It's growing significantly in the Northeast, and we have a region of the country being very specialized, and we're going to have actually three regions of the country being very specialized, but they're all interdependent and have something that the other side or the other part of the country wants. This is the specialization of the Northeast. Textiles, textile industry, it becomes dominant. You can see the textiles also are in the South where the cotton is being grown. But cotton and agriculture is pretty much the dominant thing. And so with this growth here in textile mills, in the textile industry, there is growth here in expansion west. And the number of slaves that are needed and desired grows. The slave population grows. For a while, the importation will increase a little bit till it's banned by Congress in 1808, but then it's just going to be through natural reproduction of slaves and birthing of slave babies in the South and the United States. And slavery expands and grows significantly because of this. And so this map kind of shows that growth of slavery, but also at the same time, there's such a specialization in the North, and if you remember our Democratic Republican ideals that we've talked about before being an impact on why slavery is leaving in the Northeast. Well, here is another factor, and the fact that it pretty much dries completely out, and that it's just economically not needed or viable or necessary for a major factor. And in the South, it continues to grow because of this cotton gin. Thank you, Eli Whitney. So slavery's growth and regional specialization are exacerbated by the cotton gin. In the west and north of the Ohio River, farmers out there are focusing on wheat, cash crop grains, kind of like in Pennsylvania. Corn and wheat, pork, things like that are being grown out there. Things that are needed in the south, but also needed in the northeast. Everybody's got a little something that the other has. And so we're all complicit and we're all supportive of what the other has because everybody's benefiting from it. And because of this, as we talked about before, cities and the growth of towns, especially in the Northeast, is really a major byproduct and effect of all of this. New York, Boston, Baltimore become centers of worldwide trade at the turn of the century and increasingly into the 19th century. River towns out here in the West, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Cincinnati, Ohio, and Louisville profit as well as trade comes up the Mississippi River and up and down the Ohio River in this exchange of goods from south to north and east to west and south, north to south and southwest and west. The economy is growing and everybody's getting something from somebody and making some money because there's demand everywhere. The cities have problems though. They're growing kind of haphazardly. They don't have sewers because of the massive population growth. We have disease epidemics that are significant. Yellow fever is one of the biggest ones. In 1793, there was a massive one in Philadelphia, and throughout the late 18th century and early 19th century, there's massive ones that pop up all over the country in the south and in the west, killing thousands of people. Fires spread pretty easily in many of these towns because they're built out of wood, and there's no safety codes here at all in this particular instance, in this particular time period. But these cities also bring Eastern culture and connections to educational resources and read libraries and museums and shops developing in the cities as they get bigger over time. One of the other factors as to why the Industrial Revolution grows is because of the development of corporations. The United States government allows also for laws that protect and establish and encourage the development of corporations. And these are basically large businesses, kind of like the joint stock charter companies of the early colonial period. We have investors coming together, and basically there is a legal protection for these investors, and if they happen to go bankrupt, their personal items and personal wealth isn't affected. It's separate and safe. It encourages investment. And so these corporations will sell stock to other people that want to try to make money from the growth of profits made from this particular business or industry. They can use this capital to finance their growth and develop new gadgets, gadgets, or thingamajigs. And because of this, industry grows. This is also growing, and this isn't necessarily notes, but you can jot it off down to the side because of the fact that our second bank of the United States is reestablished after the first charter of the Bank of the United States. The first bank expires in 1816 or 1811. In 1816, Congress passes the second bank charter. It's going to last until about 1836. Same criticisms were there as before about the constitutionality of it, and that it only benefits the wealthy and it doesn't help the poor common people. But it does have the advantage in that to the Industrial Revolution that it helps and is another source of big loans to big business and industry to help propel the U.S. economy forward and into an industrial type of society. Here's your essential question. There's some things you could jot down for your left side summary. Make some hay, get your left side stuff work, and make a snap chart of your own. Actually, you have a snap chart. We've done it in class, so you're pretty good to go. Good day.